Good afternoon, everybody, and welcome to another edition of the Indy's Trusted Servant Show on InspireSmall.biz. I want to thank Ryan Henry of InspireSmall.biz for making this venue available so that I, Danny O'Malley, can interview interesting small biz and community folks. What's Indy's Trusted Servant? Well, that's me, Danny O'Malley. I do customer service training and keynote speaking about customer service. It's all about the culture. I learned all of that at the hand of the master, my late father, Joe O'Malley, in the O'Malley Food Market days. But even before that, in about 1956, when I was 9 years old, when my dad owned a small grocery store in Broad Ripple, where the Vagabond Bar is now, and he eventually lost that store. And he came back 10 years later after working for a couple of local chains and started O'Malley Food Markets to great success. And one of the lessons I learned was to never, ever, ever give up. What's the Indy's Trusted Servant Show on InspireSmall.biz? I like to describe it as lively, local, small biz and community talk where you can feel the pulse of Indy. And today, we're going deep into the Catholic community, of which I'm a member, with my friend John Felter. We are both members of Catholic Business Exchange. That's how we got to know each other several years ago. And John still lives out in my old neck of the woods in St. Michael's Parish out by Ritter High School, 30th and Tibbs. And he's got several things to talk about, including the Pumpkin Fest, which is coming up at St. Michael's, Marian College Homecoming, and the KFC, which you're a member of. So, John, welcome to the show. Tell the folks about John Felter.
Well, I grew up in St. Andrew's, the Apostle Catholic Church.
Know it well.
At 38th and Grant. Father Harold was the founding pastor. He was there my whole time. He started out at St. Joan of Arc, went to St. Andrew's. He lived in what was the first structure, the gym, and he lived upstairs.
No kidding.
And he built a convent on the side and then put slats so the nuns could see the altar, because they used the gym as the altar, or they used the gym for the church. But he had slats there, and the nuns, the Sisters of Providence, could see the tabernacle for chapel.
This is interesting to me because I taught at St. Andrews from 1969 to 1973. Yeah. So I'm familiar with the parish, but you're going back before then.
Yeah, and so this was like 1956 is when it started. So then he wanted always to build a church. He never got his church. He finally got the basement, but because he had to build the wing of he built the first wing of the school. He had to build a second wing of the school. When he was the pastor, they had roughly 1,500 students, and he ran 4 buses, north, south, east, and west, and had firemen or his associate pastors drive the bus.
Yeah.
And then he after he got the school, he tried 3 times to build a church. The Archbishop asked for that money because he needed to build. He only had Cecina as an archdiocesan school. He had Sacred Heart.
Cathedral was an archdiocesan school back then.
Back then it was.
Yes.
But he wanted to build 3 more schools.
Right.
On the north side, the west side, and the far south side.
Right.
And he did that. And he kind of borrowed the money.
So, well, when I got there in 69, the church was in the basement.
Yes.
Yes.
They moved it to the basement.
So you went to St. Andrews, you went to Brebeuf, graduated from Brebeuf what year?
In 69.
The very first class? No.
4th class.
4th class, okay.
Interesting story. In 1965, I got a really bad case of mononucleosis after I went out for track. And I ended up going to school on the Bell system, a phone hookup between the house and Brebeuf.
Sounds like COVID. Wow, that's amazing.
So that's it.
So from there you went to Marian.
Then I went to Marian.
And majored in what?
started out in accounting, but then I ended up taking a lot of philosophy, a lot of theology. I ended up getting a minor in business, and then I ended up majoring in English.
Hey, I was an English major too. That's what I taught at
Yeah.
St. Andrews.
So then
Yeah.
I majored in English. In fact, I did interview right after I graduated. I interviewed at St. Andrews for a job. I didn't get it, but
Well, what year would that have been?
that would have been 73, the fall.
That would have been when I left St. Andrews and went to Cathedral.
Yeah.
Yeah, so that's that time frame.
And I can't even remember who the pastor was then.
Well, there was Father Modi was the pastor when I got there, but he died of cancer.
Yeah.
And then Father Mike Kataw was the pastor.
That's
Yeah, I don't think he's a priest anymore.
Because my cousin ended up being my cousin ended up being the principal, Kathy McVeigh.
Okay. Well, how did you end up in St. Michael's Parish?
That long story. I ended up going to. My parents had moved in St. Matthew. I kept going to St. Thomas Aquinas because I was at Marian. Stopped off there at 5:30 Mass on Sunday because I wanted to hear Father Munschauer. So then I
love Father Munschauer.
And then I met at Star when I was at the Star News. I had started as a copy clerk.
That was your first job?
That was after the bookstore.
The bookstore.
Yeah, Walden Books.
You worked at Walden Books, really?
And then I ended up. I applied 4 times into the Star News. Got in there. After the 4th time, I got in. Worked as a copy clerk. Then I worked. Then they put me on the business desk as subbing in for the markets editor.
Okay.
He retired after 49 years.
Holy moly.
And I ended up doing the markets editor job. And then I wrote the little blurb for a young lady by the name of Jacqueline M. Teasing. And she was going to be the promotion coordinator for the news. And also did Junior Pacers, Green Flag Safety Program. And I saw her coming, and I saw her walking down the street one day during lunch break, and I said, I didn't realize you went to Marian University, or Marian College, and she says, yeah, I graduated in 1978. So the next thing you know, we ended up talking more. We ended up going out. So then we ended up getting married in 1982 at St. Thomas Aquinas.
Okay. Was Father Munschauer?
Well, it was Father Marty Peter.
Okay. Remember that name.
But the priest that married us was Father John Ryan, which it was then he became Monsignor.
Right.
And he has since passed away.
Okay, so you're working at the Star. How long did you work at the Star News?
News.
At the
news.
News. Okay.
Yeah. I worked there 10 years.
And then what?
And then what happened is they brought in a new managing editor from Knight Ridder. His name was Frank Caperton.
I remember that name.
And he was the first managing editor. Well, it was the old story. He was brought in to start cleaning up the staff of the news, starts cutting it back so that they could eventually merge the 2 papers. Once they had them merged, then the Pulliam family that was left, which I think there were Murda, Russ, and maybe a couple other ones. The other family member was Dan Quayle.
Yeah, yeah.
And they merged not only the Star News, but the Huntington papers and the papers in Phoenix.
And Quayle was from Huntington.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And they merged all those into Gannett, which has been been sold again.
Hold on. Were you there when the Gannett sale took place?
I wasn't there when this sale took place. I left in 86.
Okay.
I was there 10 years.
So what'd you do since then?
And then after that, I started working at Ellis Ayres. That's where I got my sales experience. I built my sales routine, kept track of my customers, kept the blue book. I had sale customers.
Were you
Prime-
in the men's department or what?
I ended up being the selling sales manager for men's collection.
Wow.
Men's
Okay.
Polo, Nautica, Tommy Hilfiger, and I had prime customers that liked those brands.
Yeah.
People that wanted sales, and then finally they May Company was over.
Right,
So
right.
May Company came in and said, "Oh, here we go."
Now you're back at the Star again.
Yeah.
Right. Same deal. So then what?
So then I ended up just working for different retail places, and I finally went in, and I was able to get in through INET, or Indiana Employment Security Division. I got an interview at FedEx, and they said, so I interviewed for that job. It was working as a handler, $8.50,
But that was what year?
and that was in 1992.
Okay. And you were there for a long time.
I ended up getting checker, then ramp agent, and then when I was a ramp agent, and then unfortunately, bad story, in 2001, my wife ended up with a pulmonary embolism, and that was the first one. And then the last blood test she had was in 9/11.
That day?
That day,
my goodness.
I watched the planes hit the tower
From the hospital?
from the hospital.
Holy
And
Toledo.
then after that, Jackie just got really depressed about everything. And then she ended up passing away in 2002. And I said, and I just had a daughter turn 11. I had a daughter turn 13 on January the 15th, and she died on the 21st, which was
Your daughter died?
my wife.
Your wife died. Just your wife.
Yeah.
I knew about your wife.
And then, and the thing was, is that was Martin Luther King Day that day.
Well, so you still haven't told me how you got to St. Michael's.
St. Michael, we basically started helping take care of my in-laws.
Okay.
And that was after my mother-in-law died in 1983.
Okay. So now let's get to the present. Okay. You want to talk about the Pumpkin Fest?
Yes, the
St. Michael's annual festival, right? So tell us about the Pumpkin Fest. What happens there, and when it is?
It's October 1st this year, all day, and what they did, what it is they have. This year is the second year that they're going to have it. St. Joseph's Brew Pub on College Avenue.
Yeah.
And they're handling all the craft beer. You know, you pay them, and they take care, and then they.
It's a Catholic festival, folks, so there's going to be beer there.
And then, Easley Winery, which is also on College Avenue, they've donated all the wine.
Yeah.
So
it's beer and wine. What else?
And then the second year we did it, Timberland has always done it. We started out in 2017. That was the first one. And they were the first sponsor, Timberland Lumber, and they were in the old Zares on Lafayette Road.
Oh, okay, yeah.
So, but Timberland, they've always been with us. But then Timberland donated the materials in 2018, and we made a racetrack.
Okay.
And anybody can design a pumpkin, put wheels on them, and they race them down a ramp.
That's the pumpkin thing.
Yes.
You race. Wait a minute. You got pump. I've been to the Pumpkin Fest, but I haven't seen this part of it. Okay. You race pumpkins down a ramp.
Down a ramp.
Okay.
And I mean, there are comical decorations.
How many pumpkins get? How many pumpkins get entered?
Oh, I mean, we've had as many as 10. 15.
So it's a soapbox derby for pumpkins.
A soapbox derby for pumpkins.
Yeah.
I mean, we've got soapbox derby. We're on
the
west side.
30th Street. That's 30th Street, right?
Yeah. So they race these pumpkins, and then there's a pumpkin pie eating contest.
Okay.
And there's another guy from Catholic Business Exchange that was in the first one, but he wasn't in the second one because they banned adults. But he wants to be in the pumpkin pie eating contest. Bill Beckman.
Oh yeah, I'm not surprised at that.
And
Well, so
Bill Beckman is he's Mr. Boy Scout, and he's what is it? The Silver Beaver. He just got it.
oh yeah, he's very big in the Scouts. So now, what's the date again?
October 1st.
It's a 1-day thing.
Yeah.
Is that a Saturday?
It's a Saturday.
It's a Saturday, October 1st.
And
so
then-
St. Michael's School out on West 30th at Tibbs.
Yeah, and then they're going to be needing volunteers to put all the stuff together on Friday.
Is there a number that somebody can call, or is there a website or anything to volunteer?
I would just go to Saint Michael. It's B Roach. Well, I'm trying to think. It'd probably be best to.
What if you just Google St. Michael's Pumpkin Fest?
Google St. Michael's Pumpkin Fest or Google St. Michael's, stmichaelindy.org.
Okay, stmichaelindy.org. You can find out.
stmichaelindy.org.
Well, what kind of food? We got beer, we got wine.
And then
what kind of food do they serve?
I mean, they've got one chef that's going to be doing a lot of the cooking, and I forget where he cooks. His last name's Garza. His wife.
Well, what do they cook? Like, St. Thomas has the sausage fest.
Hamburgers, hot dogs, brats.
Hamburgers, hot dogs, and brats. And the pumpkin. When's the pumpkin race? Is that Saturday night?
It's probably going to be in the afternoon sometime because it goes from 1:30 to 12, 1:30 to 9:30.
1:30 to 9:30.
So it's not a late event.
So
you can take the kids.
But we don't know exactly what time the pumpkin race is.
Yeah, it'll probably be sometime right after the dinner time.
About after dinner time. Okay, that sounds like it'd be hilarious, right? Have the pumpkins crashed?
Oh yeah. yeah. There's
how big?
There's a lot of pumpkin seeds you gotta clean.
How big is the ramp?
It's probably, I'd say, 45 degrees.
And how long does it run?
Probably 50 feet.
So these are very quick races, right? So and then is it like
they'll do heats?
Yeah. So
and then they'll have a final heat.
And they'll be. What's the champion get? Do you know?
I'm not sure what they've done.
That maybe not. Maybe nothing.
And there is a raffle. They'll sell raffle tickets the day of it.
There's no admission charge, right?
And there's no admission charge.
No admission charge. Okay, buy a raffle ticket and help St. Michael's.
And then on Saturday night, you can go to Mass at 5:30 Mass with Father John Camwendo, which is that that's an amazing priest. This priest is from Tanzania. He ended up taking theology and philosophy at Indiana University. Archbishop Beekline told him he could go to St. Meinrad's for the seminary, so he ends up going to St. Meinrad's, and then he was ordained with Father Doug Marcotte at St. Simon. They were the only two ordained that year, and he's ordained a priest of the Archdiocese of Indianapolis.
How long has he been a priest, would you say?
Since he was ordained with Doug Marcotte. That's probably, right after that, he was at probably 11. But anyway,
not that big
he was ordained with Father Marcotte. Then he was, and his brother had, I believe, a pecan plantation in Tanzania.
No kidding. Well, now, okay, that's the pumpkin.
If you need pecans, that's fine.
That's the Pumpkin Fest. Now, you also have another big event out on West 30th Street on the 1st, that's Marian College Homecoming.
The great Marian University.
Marian University Homecoming. You want to talk about that a little bit?
And that's on October 1st. And so I will be out there at 9 o'clock because I will do the rosary, which is they have a shrine of the Immaculate Conception and Rosary Walk. And the whole shrine is in the shape of a womb.
Oh, really? Okay.
And it's a young statue of Mary, and she's.
This is on the campus at Marian.
On the campus.
Okay.
and it's right across from Doyle Hall. And her hands are at her side, and she's facing the Bishop Chartrand Chapel and St. Joseph Chapel, where her sons reposed in the sacrament. And then they, around the Rosary Walk, they have all of the mysteries of the Rosary at each.
And this starts at 9 o'clock.
And that's at 9 o'clock for the Rosary.
Well, what time's the homecoming game?
Homecoming is 1:05.
Who's Marian playing that day?
Madonna University.
Well, where is that, in D.C.?
It's down. I think it's in South. I believe it's Kentucky or.
Okay, it sounds very Catholic.
It's very Catholic.
Yeah,
They
yeah.
played. Madonna played Ave Maria last week.
Okay.
So we got all the Marys playing.
There you go. There you go.
I mean,
so that game, surely you can walk up and buy tickets at the game,
I
right?
believe the tickets are $10.
Yeah, very affordable.
Yeah.
A very nice little stadium.
And then my tailgate is just to the south of that.
Oh, you're going to have a tailgate. Well,
with a cornhole.
okay. How are you splitting your time now? You're going to be early in the day. You're going to be at the Marian.
I'll be at the Marian.
Are you going to go to the football game?
And I'll be at the football games.
And then you'll be at the festival. Busy day for John, right?
Yeah.
Now the other topic. So we've covered the Marian homecoming. Is there anything else you want to say about Marian on a global basis?
The one thing that's up.
There's so much going on at Marian. So much great stuff.
Well, yeah, because you got at Marian, you're going to have that day. You're going to have football. You're going to have the start of the rugby season. Marian has a rugby team, and I believe it's the volleyball team plays. I mean, Marian.
Big home. Is there a dance that night or something? Homecoming dance?
I don't know. I know.
Okay.
I know. Ray Brown, who graduated with you from Cathedral.
A year ahead of me.
His class is having an anniversary. So,
he's 2 years ahead of me, in fact.
Yeah.
Yeah.
63.
Yep.
They're having their reunion at Marian that day.
Okay. So now the other thing is the KFC.
Well, yeah, the KFC.
And this is where's this located?
This is it's St. Pius X KFC, 3433. It's 70 years old.
Yeah, but where's it located?
It's 71st and Keystone. They bought a lot of land, and it was called the Anglers Club then. And they bought this land. So they still have 3 lakes. They have a swimming pool.
Yes, they do.
Big, huge facility. And they, so anyway, I'm a member there. My dad was on the realty board for like 10 years when they were going through some problems. I won't even go into that.
That's a long time ago.
A long time ago. But anyway, they're still up there.
But they're not the KFC anymore.
Well, they are the KFC.
Explain.
St. Pius Realty Corporation owns the property.
Mm-hmm.
They're under the building, because it's rented out as Northside Events and Social Club.
And this is the national KFC that kind of forced that, right?
Well, they kind of did that. They wanted it. Although there are other councils that are separate from churches, they're still the KFC. We're still the KFC. We always will be.
And of course,
we're still founded by Blessed Michael McGivney.
So this is where the Catholic Business Exchange meets.
Yes.
But was there some big event that you wanted to talk about with the KFC? How did all that connect to the Marian and St. Michael's, or does it?
What connects with Marian is I thought, well, what the heck? So I started getting nights to donate to a banner to put up at Ascension St. Vincent Field.
The football field.
The football field.
Okay.
It'll say Knights Helping Knights.
Because Knights of Columbus, Marian Knights.
Marian Knights.
Coincidentally.
Yeah.
Yes, very Catholic. Very Catholic thing.
So this banner, it's already up at St. Vincent's
Well, you've
Field.
got a picture on your phone. Let's put it up for the camera.
That's
new then, right?
Yeah, that's brand new. It just went up. Knights Supporting Knights. And it had underneath the Knights Supporting Knight, it says www.ksc.org/join, has the URL code. Somebody can take a picture of it and join the Knights.
The Knights of Columbus.
The Knights of
Right.
Columbus.
And how are the Knights supporting the Marian Knights?
Through this banner, that money, the money that I put together to get the banner up, that goes to student athletes. So now I'm trying to get the National Knights of Columbus to help out, and other knights, so that we can create what a perpetual, to have this up perpetually.
Okay.
And then that way it can support, not only it can support Bishop Simon Brute seminarians who are right down the street in the old Carmelite monastery. They can also support the chaplain, who right now the chaplain is Barry Fisher from the Precious Blood in Dayton, and then student athletes.
Okay.
So it's a three-prong approach, but it's that way you keep the whole Catholic thing in there.
Absolutely. And Marian has just been a great force. Of course, we've been on Cold Spring Road forever, but boy, the last Dan Elsener has done a fabulous job there. Right?
When after they had the National Sports Festival and the Pan Am Games, they had this beautiful facility called the Velodrome.
Yeah.
Nobody was using it. Marian started taking the...
For the uninitiated, it's a bike racing track.
Across
from Marian.
Called the Major Teller Velodrome.
Yep.
So they started taking care of it. They started taking care of Lake Sullivan, because Lake Sullivan, they tied in with the Nina Mason Pullum Echo Lab.
Okay.
And then all that. So they take care of that. So when they closed Riverside Golf Course, the offer was made, can we use that for athletic fields? As of yet.
And happened yet.
As of yet, it hasn't happened yet. We have a lot of overgrown golf.
Yes, there is. It's
very overgrown. A lot of dead trunks laying around from trees.
Yep. Well, we'll see what happens there, but it seems like a logical thing to do for the city to sell that property to Marian, but we'll see what happens.
Yeah.
So John Felter, you've got the KFC, you've got the St. Michael's Pumpkin Fest. I can just see the pumpkins with the wheels on them. Okay. And you got Marian University.
And Becky Roach is just doing a phenomenal job. The lady that ran it for a long time before that was Jennifer Smith, and she's got 6 kids.
God love her. Well, John, it's great having you on the
Thanks,
show.
Danny.
Next week's guest will be a friend of Ryan's and mine, Jay Cox. He is our kind of Medicare and seniors expert. He's going to talk about the Medicare sign-up period as well as other senior-related things. So tune in again next week for Jay Cox. And it was great having you. John, was great having you on the show.